is good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSin, aka the Hokage of the village. Hidden in that loud, you feel me? And I figured since I'm awake, I'm baked, significantly baked, good amount of baked. I might as well bring you some news because I know this isn't my normal like newscast type of thing, but this is something that affects all of us, so I figured I should talk about it. I tried going to this article on my computer, but it tries to make me subscribe, and I see no reason to. So thankfully, I can pull up the article on my phone without having to subscribe. I don't know why, but I'm thankful. So I'll pull up the article on in the video since I'm going to screen record it, and we're just gonna go over that, and then we're gonna go over the video that I have for that article at the end. But apparently there is a massive prehistoric solar storm that is a warning for Earth, according to researchers. The article states, the night sky lit up so bright that some people thought it was morning. Oh, by the way, this article is by Kasha Patel on the Washington Post. So there you have it. The article reads, okay, like I said, the night sky lit up so bright that some people thought it was morning. Gold miners in the Rocky Mountains woke up at 1 a.m. to make breakfast and start their day. Birds began singing as if the sun had already risen. Telegraph systems worldwide went offline and no one could send a message. The event in 1859, known as the Carrington event, has long been thought of as the benchmark for the most intense geomagnetic storm observed on Earth. Sent northern lights displays as far as South Florida and Central America, and knocking out communication systems. But now, new research has unveiled evidence of a much larger solar storm that could reset record books. If it's a solar storm that bad, then yeah, we should probably be, keeping an eye on it at least. Saying further, giving the reason why I'm going off my normal type of of wake and bake newscast type shit. But to keep it in that general area of wake and bake newscast, just hypothetically speaking, how big would you have to be, and how big would a blunt or joint or bong have to be for you to use a solar storm as the light, or the heat, whatever, to light your blunt or joint or bong? Like, how big would you have to be? Like, imagine. Oh, that could be a good bar. Like, if you're just rapping, I smoke blunts so big that I gotta use a solar storm. I don't know. But the article continues. In a study released Monday, researchers identified what appears to be the largest solar storm to hit Earth, estimated to be larger than a Carrington event by an order of magnitude. The storm occurred 14,300 years ago, but is evidence of a yet unknown dimension of the sun's extreme behavior and hazardous to Earth. You know what? For all we know, it's God being like, hey, I tried to douse y'all with water, and I tried to be like, y'all need to stop whatever you're doing, but y'all ain't listen. So I'm gonna hit y'all with a solar storm. Goodbye. I'm gonna bring y'all all the ashes. Oof, that could age wrongly. Anyway, the article continues. It's clear that if one of these events occurred today, this would be quite destructive on our energy network and also internet network, said Edward Bard, lead author of the study. This would really freeze. In fact, all communications and travel would be totally disrupted. I guess that's my voice for him. So, So it would freeze instead of burning to death. My bad, sorry. But yeah. No, it would freeze all communications. So we could still burn to death. Anyway, the article continues, unlike the Carrington storm, the 14,300-year-old event does not have ground reports of bright, dancing lights or changes in animal behavior. Instead, scientists found traces of the solar storm in ancient tree rings in French Alps and ice cores in Greenland. Wait. So is this a solar? I thought this was a solar storm coming to us, but it's like already affecting like trees and ice cores or something. Like, what's going on? I mean, it could also be the reason why the temperature has been really crazy lately. I don't know. But the article continues, the journey from space to our trees may seem fortuitous, but physics helps explain the cosmic connection, said astronomer Benjamin Pope, who was not involved in the research. Cosmic rays, or high energy particles, from space can strike Earth's atmosphere and cause nuclear reactions. For example, the high energy radiation can turn nitrogen atoms in our upper atmosphere into radioactive carbon-14, known as radiocarbon. The radiocarbon filters through Earth, including plants, animals, people, oceans, but also tree rings, which can preserve the records for thousands of years. So it is hitting early, basically. Like we're in the middle of it. We're at the beginning stages of it, maybe? Okay, well, the article continues. It's a huge interdisciplinary science involving archaeologists, chemists, and physicists, which is our only real way of understanding the physics of the sun before modern times, said Pope, a researcher at Australia's University of Queensland. Okay. The team measured radiocarbon levels in trees in the French Alps, which were older than previously sampled trees. Excuse me. Bard said typically these measurements are very boring and monotonous. But in this case, a very distinct spike appeared in a single year 14,300 years ago. The amount of radiocarbon produced may have been between 5 and 10 times the amount normally produced in an entire year. Okay, so yeah, this is like the beginning stages of it. It's heading towards us. Radiocarbon is increasing. Things are starting to happen to our environment, which is giving us a warning or is leading to, hey, get ready to deal with some real heat. Like, y'all thought y'all was hot before, you ain't see nothing yet type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But the article continues. Let's see. The team suggests the radiocarbon spike was caused by a massive solar storm or from a huge solar flare, which sent a huge amount of energetic particles into Earth's atmosphere. I certainly wasn't expecting anything as significant as this, said Heaton, a statistician at the University of Leeds in Britain. It looks like it might be the biggest one that's ever been seen so far. The team confirmed the radiocarbon might be analyzing ice cores in Greenland. Just as solar particles and cosmic rays can create carbon-14, they can also create beryllium-10 isotope, which can settle the ice cores. Okay, which can settle in ice cores, sorry. The Bard said the fact that spikes found in both data sets is really indicating to us that the mechanism is well understood. Following the spike, the study authors also found radiocarbon levels tend to stay elevated for about a century, marking a period where the sun went quiet. So not only would it just hit and go away, but this would pretty much hit and stick around for like a century, until we're all like old or dying. You know what I'm saying? The article continues. The sun's activity naturally ebbs and flows through an 11-year cycle. But this event shows the peaks of several consecutive solar cycles were lower than normal, known as a grand solar minimum. Heaton explained that typically, the sun's magnetic field helps shield Earth from cosmic rays. But when the sun's activity is lower, then more cosmic rays reach Earth, enabling more radiocarbon production. Others are not fully convinced that the data is tied to a large solar storm. Researcher Florian Adolphi, who was not involved in the study, said the researchers also need to look at the concentrations of another type of isotope, the chlorine-36 isotope, which is more sensitive to solar cosmetic radiation than radiocarbon or beryllium. Bard and his colleagues are already collecting additional data, including looking at the chlorine isotope from ice cores in Antarctica. Similarly, it remains to be tested whether the event was really the strongest of the so far observed events. Oh, that's true, because more if we're getting hit by this solar storm early, then we're obviously going to see more events that involve it, whether or not it hits Earth, or whether or not it hits Earth. Yeah, just whether or not it hits Earth. But that's gonna be fun, right? Let's see. Overall, Adolphi said the study was well done and shows compelling evidence for another past solar event, providing a great opportunity for further research investigating the exact cause of amplitude. By the way, Alfred Adolphi is a senior scientist at the Alfred Wegener Institute of Polar and Marine Research in Germany. Okay, that's his credit. That gives him the credit to say all the things he says and for us to take it seriously, pretty much. The article continues. This 14,300-year-old event appears to be bigger than any on record, but is one of 9 extreme solar storms to occur in the last 15,000 years. Goddamn. Discovered in tree rings over the past decade. Okay, I see. These extreme events are known as Miyake events, named after Japanese physicist Fusei Miyake, who first discovered the radiocarbon spikes in tree rings in 2012. No Miyake event has been directly observed like the Carrington event. Makes sense. Hold on, where was I? Pope said these Miyake events seem to occur at random, about once every 1,000 years. He estimated that could mean about a 1% risk of such an event occurring each decade, which is a threat to power grids, satellites, and internet. Even if these Miyake events occur once 1,000 years, I think it is pretty serious and definitely merits investment and in understanding these events and how to predict and mitigate their effects, if any, said Pope, who called it a really interesting study. So basically, maybe like the people who love to talk about the greenhouse effect and and things like that. Basically, they're gonna be like, hey, yo, we definitely support hydrogen fuel cell cars, because those technically take the air that's out, that's in our solar system already. It takes the air that's out of that, or takes that air and kind of purifies it in a way as you drive your car. So, if you're against, I keep forgetting the term for it, but the heating of the Earth due to its not because it's a core, but because of the ozone effect, whatever, something. If you're against that, you're definitely not gonna want to go like hydrogen cars and stuff like that. But the article continues. Bard, a climate scientist at Collège de France, and Sergei said learning about the sun's past behavior is important for forecasting future solar storms, but also for understanding the sun's impact on Earth's climate. The sun's effect on Earth's climate is not as large as warming for greenhouse gas emissions, but it is a factor to consider in climate models. The solar activity is also changing the output of the sun, said Bard. We can't assume the sun as constant. We need to also enter its behavior over long periods of time in order to calculate climate variability. So that's it for the article, and we're definitely gonna go over this video that I have here, ready to check out, and we're gonna see, like, you know what I'm saying, what it's, the video is, hold on, let me just put it on screen for you real quick. The video is titled "The Most Powerful Solar Storm in History and Why It Matters for Our Civilization." Came out 12 hours ago as of recording, and it's by the YouTube channel NASASpaceNews. So let's check this out. You ready? I'm ready.
Imagine if one day the sun unleashed a massive burst of energy that could fry all the electronics on Earth, disrupt the power grid, damage the satellites, and endanger the lives of astronauts. Sounds scary, right? Well, it's actually a real phenomenon that happens from time to time, and it's called a solar storm. It is a disturbance in the sun's atmosphere that can send streams of charged particles and electromagnetic radiation towards our planet. These particles and radiation can interact with the Earth's magnetic field and cause geomagnetic storms, which can have various effects on our technology and society. But how often do solar storms happen? How powerful can they be? And how can we prepare for them? These are some of the questions that we will try to answer in this video. Most importantly, I will tell you about a new discovery of a giant solar storm that occurred 14,300 years ago, which was much more powerful than the Carrington event of 1859, the most severe geomagnetic storm ever recorded in history. This discovery has important implications for our understanding of solar activity and its potential impacts on our civilization.
If this is AI reading this, maybe I should get like AI to read it for me, because, you know. Anyway.
So stay tuned and get ready to learn more about this fascinating topic.
Let's go. How did the scientists discover this giant solar storm?
To answer this question, we need to go back in time to the French Alps, where a group of scientists were studying ancient tree rings. Tree rings are layers of wood that grow every year inside a tree trunk. They can tell us a lot about the climate and environmental conditions of the past, but they can also tell us something about the sun's activity.
I wonder how they know which ring means what, and how they learn to like kind of dissect the meaning of the rings that the sun inflicts on it.
But how, you might ask? Well, it turns out that tree rings contain traces of carbon-14,
I did ask how.
a radioactive isotope of carbon that is produced by cosmic rays in the upper atmosphere. Cosmic rays are high-energy particles that come from outer space and bombard the Earth constantly. However, when the sun is more active and produces more solar storms, it also produces more solar wind, which is a stream of charged particles that flows from the sun and shields the Earth from some of the cosmic rays. This means that fewer cosmic rays reach the Earth, and less carbon-14 is produced in the atmosphere. This also means that less carbon-14 is absorbed by plants and trees through photosynthesis. Therefore, by measuring the amount of carbon-14 in tree rings, we can estimate how active the sun was in different periods of history. This is exactly what the scientists did. They collected samples of tree rings from an ancient pine tree that lived between 12,000 and 14,000 years ago in the French Alps. They measured the radiocarbon levels in each ring and compared them with other records of solar activity from different sources, such as ice cores and sediments. What they found was astonishing. they found a huge spike in radiocarbon levels that indicates a massive solar eruption that occurred around 14,300 years ago. This solar eruption lasted for several hours and was much more intense than any other known solar event in history. It was even stronger than the Carrington event of 1859, which was the most severe geomagnetic storm ever recorded by humans. The Carrington event caused widespread telegraph failures, auroras visible as far as Hawaii and Cuba, and electric shocks to operators.
So if this is stronger than that, then obviously it's going to do way more damage and have a way more active effect around the globe. Feel me?
Scientists estimated that the solar storm of 14,300 years ago was at least 10 times more powerful than the Carrington event and could have caused even more damage if it happened today.
Yep. There goes your internet. There goes your influencers
Now,
for a while.
you might be wondering what would happen if a giant solar storm like the one that occurred 14,300 years ago happened today. Well, let's just say it would not be pretty. A giant solar storm could have devastating consequences for our modern technology and society, which rely heavily on electricity and communication systems. One of the main effects of a giant solar storm would be on the power grid. The geomagnetic storm caused by the solar eruption would induce currents in long conductors such as power lines, transformers, and generators. These currents could overload or damage these components and cause widespread blackouts or even permanent damage to the power grid infrastructure. This could affect millions of people around the world who depend on electricity for their daily needs, such as heating, cooling, lighting, cooking, etc. Another major effect of a giant solar storm would be on communication systems. The solar radiation and particles could interfere with radio signals and satellite transmissions, which are essential for many services such as navigation, telecommunication, broadcasting, internet, etc. This could disrupt or disable these services and cause chaos or confusion among people who rely on them for information or communication. A third effect of a giant solar storm would be on space assets. The solar radiation and particles could damage or destroy satellites orbiting the Earth, which are used for various purposes such as weather forecasting, surveillance, scientific research, etc. This could affect the quality and availability of these services and also create more space debris that could pose a threat to other satellites or spacecraft. Moreover, they could endanger the lives of astronauts or space tourists who are in low Earth orbit or beyond, such as on the International Space Station or on the Moon. They could be exposed to high doses of radiation that could cause health problems or even death.
Damn. What can we do to prepare for the future solar storms?
So far, we have seen how a giant solar storm could wreak havoc on our technology and society. But is there anything we can do to prevent or mitigate such a disaster? Well, the answer is yes and no. On one hand, we cannot stop the sun from producing solar storms, as they are natural phenomena that are beyond our control. On the other hand, we can do some things to improve our understanding and prediction of solar storms, and to protect ourselves or our assets from their effects. One of the things we can do is to conduct more research and monitoring of solar activity and space weather. Solar activity is the term used to describe the changes in the sun's atmosphere that produce solar storms. Space weather is the term used to describe the conditions in the space environment that are influenced by solar activity.
Hey, yo, real quick, imagine like you're driving your Tesla and a piece of the solar storm hits early, and it suddenly you're driving like in a 40 you're driving 45 in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, right? Suddenly that piece of the solar storm hits early and it propels you from 45 to 70 miles an hour suddenly. Like, just imagine, like, I don't know if that could actually happen, but just the burst of energy that we would get for a hot second. Oof, never mind.
By studying and observing these phenomena, we can learn more about their patterns, causes, and effects. We can also develop models and tools that can help us forecast when and where a solar storm might occur and how severe it might be. This can help us prepare for it and take appropriate actions to reduce its impacts. One example of such a research and monitoring project is NASA's Parker Solar Probe, which was launched in 2018 and is expected to complete its mission in 2025. This probe is designed to fly closer to the sun than any other spacecraft before and collect data on the sun's corona, which is the outer layer of its atmosphere where solar storms originate. Another example is ESA's Lagrange mission, which is planned to be launched in 2027 and will consist of 2 satellites that will orbit at 2 different points in space where they can observe the sun and the Earth simultaneously.
2077.
This will provide a unique perspective on the Sun-Earth system and improve our ability to forecast space weather. Another thing we can do is to take some practical steps or tips that can help us protect ourselves or our assets from solar storms. For example, we can have backup power sources such as generators or batteries that can provide electricity in case of a blackout. We can also have emergency plans or kits that can help us cope with a loss of communication or information services. We can also avoid traveling by air or by sea during a solar storm, as these modes of transportation could be affected by navigation or communication failures. We can also avoid being outside or at high altitudes during a solar storm, as these places could expose us to higher levels of radiation.
Well, real quick, like with when it comes to higher levels of radiation, the geek or whatever in me has got to mention, like, how cool would it be for these high levels of radiation to impact us in a way that it mutates us to a point where we like gain, like, you know, superpowers and shit like that. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. All right, no, I'm sorry.
That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And don't forget to share your thoughts and questions in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
So, with how far away the seriousness of the impact is, like the true impact is, what if it also, I'm just being stupid here, not just being stupid, but like, what if it also, let my imagination go, what if it also, like, reverts people's ages, gives everybody superpowers, people with sickle cell are suddenly like gods in this world. Yeah, I'd be cool with that. But that's probably not what's gonna happen. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you think could happen, and how destructive it could be in the future for us. That's it. That's all I got. As always, links to everything will be in the description below. And you know what it is after that. You know, don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do. Not that it may or may not matter in the long run, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that. In case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, evening, and good night. Peace. Much love to you.